Introduction to the front stance. So the front stance is one of your first basic stances as a beginner, as a white belt, and used right from now all the way up through your training. As long as you train, you're going to use a front stance. It's called different things in different systems. In our system, we call it a front stance. So the front stance is we have one leg forward and one leg back. I'll back up just a little bit. One leg forward, one leg back, and your direction is straight ahead. So right now, if my front stance is facing you, and that means that you would be my attacker, okay? You're the bad guy. I'm facing you with my stance. And this is a forward front stance, okay? So how you can see that my feet are shoulder width apart. Here's my shoulder width. In the lines of my feet, it's the shoulder width between the feet. So if I were to draw a straight line back from my front foot and forward from my back foot, those two lines would be my shoulder width apart. The shoulder width apart between those lines. It's not the length of the stance. The length of the stance is the front to back distance. So this is my stance in the length of it. That is not my shoulder width. Okay, this is a ginormous stance. So this is how long I want my stance to be. The front to back is length. The side to side is width. Okay, so the width of my stance is my shoulder width. My forward leg is bent. My rear leg is straight. I'm going to turn sideways for this part so you can see. All right, the forward leg should be bent with the knee over the center of the foot and even towards the toe. When I'm really lunging, it's going to go towards my toe. But, you know, for now, if it's back here behind your heel, you're not in a front stance. You're resting. Okay, this is not a front stance. So we don't want this leg to straighten out like that. We want that knee to remain bent, and we want to be dropping down in our hips with our posture up. So I don't want to lean forward into this stance. I don't want to lean back into this stance. Okay, I want to be here. And the back leg is straight. Okay, so I know the pants have wrinkles and it's kind of hard to tell, but my knee is pressed back and straight, and the heel is on the floor. So the front knee is bent. My toes are pointed straight ahead in the direction I'm facing. So that's my front. And now my attacker would be over here, not you anymore, it would be here. Okay, my toes are facing front, my knee is bent, my back leg is straight. My weight is placed in the balls of my foot. So I should be able to lift and lower my heels. I should be able to lightly tap those heels on the floor. Okay? And that's important. We want our weight in the balls of our feet when we're in our stance. If you stay in this for a long time, you might start to feel it in this front quadricep, so that's good. If it gets sore, all that means you have to do is switch to your other side. Okay, so now my left leg is in the front. All right, so this one from the side is here. Okay, this is here. My posture's up. My feet are shoulder width apart. The stance is long. In Shidokwan Karate, which is our system, our stances are long. There are times when we shorten the stance up, and we'll use a stance in a much shorter, taller position. We call that a higher stance, okay, or a shorter stance. Take a shorter stance, take a higher stance. And so maybe that front stance would look like this, okay? It's important, though, to notice that even if I'm up higher, my stance is still the same. My front knee is bent, so that my knee is above my heel, or no, sorry, not above my heel, in front of my heel, and above the foot, the center of the foot, the ball of the foot, and even towards the toe. So the more I lunge into it. I don't want the knee to pass the toe, though. Okay, the back leg is straight. My hips are square with the direction of my stance. So that means they're facing this way. Watch what happens if I turn back. See how you can see my belt? Now you can see my both hips. So if I just leave these hands here, okay, I want the hips facing straight ahead. So a way to judge this is to take your hands, put them on your hips like this, so that your fingers point forward. And so I have the wrist right on my hip bone, all right, and I'm pointing my fingers forward, or I'll just point my index fingers like that, and I'll say this is the headlights on your hips. Okay, think of your hips as the front bumper of a car. These are the headlights. You want your headlights to shine forward, directly in the direction you're going. So if I'm coming towards you in my front stance, my headlights on my hips shine forward. If I'm going this way, my headlights go that way. They don't go this way, that's towards the ditch. You know, I don't want to drive off the road, okay? I want to go this way, straight ahead. Okay, so you can check that. So things that you need to check when you do this. I just went over a lot of details, believe it or not. shoulder width apart, a long distance forward. We would say 2 natural walking steps. So if I'm walking forward and I'm going over here, that foot was there, that back foot was there, 2 steps. That's how long I want my stance to be. 2 steps forward. Shoulder width wide. All right, so width is side to side, shoulder width wide, 2 natural steps forward. Okay, front knee is bent over the foot toward the toes. Okay, toes, all 10 of my toes facing forward, straight ahead. Okay, my hips, the headlights on my hips, pointing forward. Okay, not pointing over here, pointing forward. My posture, I'll turn sideways again, is up, shoulders above my hips. It's not leaning forward or leaning back. The weight in the balls of the feet so I can tap the heels. All right, now the last part is where in the foot my weight should go in the ball of the foot. I said that, but how much in which foot? This stance is not a 50-50 stance. Our natural stance is a 50-50 stance. That means 50% of my weight is left, 50% is right. My attention stance is a 50-50 stance. All my weight split evenly between my 2 feet. Okay, a horse stance, when we get to that, is a 50-50 stance. The front stance, or the forward stance, we call it a front stance, the weight is forward. So 60% of my weight should be on this foot, 40% on this foot. Okay, if I'm really lunging, I might have 70% on this front foot and 30% on that back foot. But it's in the balls of my feet, and I want that weight to be firmly settled. All right, so it's down in my feet, down in my knees, down in my hips, good posture up. All right, so that is your intro to the front stance. Of course we do, I'll add, we do it on both sides. The name of the side, so each system's a little different how they name their stance. If my left foot is in front, I would name this a left front stance. If my right foot is in front, I would name this a right front stance. Okay, so it's a right front stance if your right foot is in front. It's a left front stance if your left foot is in front. All right, so practice that, and I'll make you some videos on the other stances.